Hey, hey. Okay, this is my last post of 2020. Decided to hop in and do one last post for you guys, one last video, um, to try to simultaneously move out of this year, 2020, and move into 2021 with some really strong reflections, with some clear set intentions, with a lot of, hi everybody. I guess I should wait till you guys jump on. I see people getting on. Hi, hi, hi. Hello. So, yeah, but I kind of want to just jump into it because I have a few things I'm going to say and then let you guys go and hopefully get a little focused on this end of the year energy, right? End of the year, beginning of the new year energy. So hi, welcome everybody. Thumbs up, thank you. Put this aside. So yeah, I was just kind of, so I've been spending time with family during the holidays. You may have seen, I did a quick little video on Christmas just to say hello, right? Let you guys know I'm out here thinking about you, and I wanted to just jump in real quick and say hi. And you know, it's always different when you're out of your regular element, right? So I'm not at home on the island and been around a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but been around my family. And there were a number of us. And so it's just, you know, kind of juggling different schedules and activities and energies, and even the food I'm eating is different, and my sleep schedule is different, and all those kinds of things. And so my regular practices are also different. And I've been feeling both physically, hey Danny, hey Salim, hi. I've been feeling the effects of that, both physically in terms of, like I said, the food I've been eating is different. My sleep is different. I can feel just my whole energy shifting. And I've been really kind of paying attention to that, thinking about how I want to, where I want to place my energy. You know, the things I'm looking at way more TV. I don't really watch TV at home normally. And so just all of those things, right? And then becoming just aware of how that affects me and how I feel about that, what I want to be doing, what I don't maybe want to be doing, you know, how I want to be doing things going forward. And so I'm sharing all of this with you because I think that there may be people out there who are going through the same things, whether you're spending time with family during the holidays, or if you're doing any type of reflection about how different things that have happened this year, in particular, 2020, have made you, how those things have made you feel, what awarenesses those events and activities may have brought to your attention, what you may want to do differently, what you liked about it. You know, I mean, I know for a lot of people, 2020 was, of course, an extraordinarily difficult year, right? I mean, we all know this for various reasons. But I think if you focus your attention effectively, there's a lot to be learned from 2020. And it's very possible to see how 2020 could be instructive to us, both, you know, personally in terms of how do we face challenges, right? Or do we just feel stuck? Do we feel paralyzed by what's going on? Are we able to go inward even despite everything that's happening around us? Hi, everybody. Despite everything that's happening around us, are we able to still recognize that no matter what, we are the creators of our experience? And that is not to say that, okay, well, we can just like wipe away a pandemic, or we can like poof instantly get a job back that we may have lost, or recreate a loved one or something like that. That's not what I'm suggesting. But I am suggesting that even when those types of really extreme things happen, we are able to calibrate our response to it. We are able to choose how we view those things, and whether we consider silver linings, whether we look for lessons in the difficulty, how we choose to engage with people who may be like really pissing us off in the moment, or people who we may feel are insensitive to the things that we're going through. I mean, all those kinds of things. There's just so much that's available in the midst of really trying times. And I was fortunate this year that I actually had a really good year. So I didn't have a lot of trying times. I had some. I had some, and in the midst of those, I even talked about them in some of my videos. I was kind of like, okay, what am I going to do now, right? When some of my work evaporated because there wasn't production in Los Angeles, things like that. And, it makes your heart kind of skip a beat, makes you worry a little bit. And then I was like, wait a second, let me get to it, right? Get my journal out, check my thoughts. What am I hearing in my head? That little voice that goes around and around sometimes. It's like, oh no, what are you going to do? What about money? What about how are you going to take care of this? What, all those what ifs and like the doom and gloom kinds of, beliefs that can be on repeat. Do you just let those run rampant in your mind, right? I was like, is this what I'm going to, this is not what I want to do. Is this how I'm going to sort of advance my way through this situation? And the answer was no, of course not. I'm not going to sit here and be paralyzed with fear. I'm not going to have dread as my response. I'm not going to just be caught up in the negativity. I refuse to participate. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I refuse to participate in what a lot of people were doing this year, which was just the constant rehashing of bad news and the like certain oh yeah, I see someone's commenting about how bad this year was for some people. Right. And I'm talking about that. But even when things are the most difficult, we still have a choice. One of the things I did this year was I read a book called, oh God, don't make me forget this book right now. Oh shoot. It was by a Holocaust survivor. His name is Viktor Frankl. There's one book written by Elie Wiesel, I believe his name is, another Holocaust survivor. It was called Night. This one's Man's Search for Meaning. That's it. That's the book I read. One of them. It's called Man's Search for Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl, who was one of the people in the Holocaust, and he survived it. But like his family got wiped out. And of course, you can imagine horrific conditions and things that he saw personally. Talk about people dying all around him, like right next to him, and, just horrible mistreatment, all of that. But again, his search for meaning, right? Not just his search, but in noticing how different people coped with that, one of the most horrific situations known to mankind, how some people survived it, and how some people, even if they didn't survive, their mentality was just such that they were able to get through it. Some got through it with relative peace and deciding that, okay, there's something higher that's controlling all of this, and others completely fell apart, lost their minds. It was a really powerful book to read in the midst of a pandemic. And, so I just fortified myself with that kind of stuff and just decided, how am I going to look at this? How am I choosing to manage what control I do have, right? I don't have control over the pandemic. I don't have control over the economy. I don't have control over all the isms, racism, and all this kind of stuff and crazy things that are happening, politics and governmental, warfare. I do not have control over that, but I absolutely have control over how I view it and how I choose to engage either in dialogue about it or in my own decisions about what that means for me. And so at no point did I feel like, well, this means, I'm going to lose a bunch of money too in the economy. Like I had people telephoning me at a certain point saying, oh my God, when the stock market crashed because of all the stuff that was happening, people were like, oh my gosh, I lost all this money and it's terrible. It's going to be bad. And I just was like, I expressed some sympathy, I guess, for some folks, but I also was like, that's not, everything is cyclical. It's so much about your mindset. And my message is just how incredibly clear I became on mindset, and not just as sort of an ethereal concept out there in the world, but like actually putting it into practice and seeing the difference that it makes, seeing the difference. And so let me read some of your comments here. You think 2021 is bad? Just wait until 2021. I've read some things about that 2021 will be a continuation of 2020, both in terms of the pandemic and the residual effects of the vaccine that's coming out. Whatever, the economy, global power exchanges. So I'm aware of some of these things, but again, I'm not focusing on, oh my God, it's going to be terrible. I'm just not. I'm focusing on, okay, what did I learn during 2020? So, for example, like I've been saying, one of the things I learned is that I am so powerful. I'm incredibly powerful in the midst of all of this. And I've said this before, not in a gloating way, but I had a really good year. I had a really good year financially. I had a really good year in terms of my health and well-being. I had a really good year in terms of how I felt emotionally, how connected I feel spiritually to source, to in terms of relationships in my life. I had just took a really overwhelmingly good year. And I don't think I just got lucky. It wasn't just like, wow, well, something special. I was like under some stardust magically. I mean, I do think things line up, but I think that things line up when you put yourself in a position to receive those blessings, that luck, if you want to call it luck. And so I have every intention that 2021 is going to be a step up, because that's what I'm desiring. I'm desiring to use what I learned in 2020 about how powerful my mind is and how powerful it is when I set my intentions down, whether it's in writing or speaking about them or disengaging from things that I don't feel are serving me. For example, I have some family members who are watching a lot of, it's like action movies, but it's a lot of gore and blood and guts and stuff. And, at a certain point, I was like, I don't really want to watch this. It didn't feel like it was feeding my soul anyway. So I came up and was like, let me do something different. So I started writing and listening to something different online and just switching what I'm allowing to come into my sphere, my space, my mental space, and how it makes me feel in my body and the things that I want to be focused on. And I don't want to just randomly end the year. I don't want to be random. I don't want to have a random result. And so I'm not going to have random intentions. I'd like to spend the next day really focused on, okay, so I got this out of 2020. Here's what was valuable that I learned. Here's what I thought was really good about it, in terms of things that I did. Here's what I think I could do better. Here's some things I still feel like I'm kind of stuck on. I had some really interesting revelations I mentioned to you guys on a video of maybe a week or two ago with Nicole. I did at nighttime talking about that I did ayahuasca, this plant-based, really, really powerful plant-based medicine, and how it just like cuts through everything and lets you just see exactly what's going on with yourself. And so I just feel very clear about a lot of things. And I have a feeling for me, 2021 is going to be a year that really exposes more of like what's on the inside of me, because that's what I want to see now. I'm like, okay, well, what else do I need to do to get to, the things that I want to have in my life? More of the things that I have, more of the good experiences, more of the freedom, more of the abundance, more of the ability to create my life as I choose it, more great relationships, more great opportunities, all of that. How's that going to happen? I can speak clearly about what I want, but I know it's not really our job to know exactly how to get there. But I think in order to get there, you do have to be clear. And so that's really what this message is about tonight, which is, if you haven't already, take some time over the next 24 hours or even the first part of the new year and really think about, like, what do you want? Are you just kind of randomly going through day after day after day? Like, I'm gonna get up and just whatever, put on some clothes and eat whatever, shove something in my face because I'm hungry, and like rush out the door and bump between your errands, just kind of maybe with no full intention? Are you just interacting with people in a really kind of cavalier manner? Are your relationships, are you having the types of relationships or interactions within relationships that you really want to have? Or is it just kind of haphazard? And if it is haphazard, is that how you want your life to be? Because I guarantee you, if you are not intentional about what it is that you want, whether it's the food you put in your body or how much time you're spending doing some inner work or any of those kinds of things, who you're hanging out with, your results are going to be totally haphazard. And then, that's what it is. So don't be mad, right? Don't be mad if you're getting kind of shit results, if you're not putting, your full intention into it. Yes, I will talk about, again, the abundance creation circle. We are all set to go. I feel so. Before I was feeling really excited, and now there's like a kind of a calm that's come over me because I know that in a matter of days we're going. And there are people who are very excited and looking forward to this, and I know that there are some people in the group who really, I get the sense that they're very focused and they want to put a good deal of effort into the work. And when I say effort, I don't mean like it's going to be hard and it's like a drag, because I don't want it to be a drag. But I do, it is about deciding that you want to do something, that you want certain results, and so you're going to do what it takes to get them. Just like, okay, and I always use this reference because I go to the gym, right? But you decide you want to lose 10 pounds, 20, 50, whatever it is. Like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to stop eating the stuff I was eating before. I've been eating so much holiday ridiculous food, and I know that some of it's like, whatever, that's why I go to the gym, so I can enjoy myself. I can eat what I want to eat. But I also recognize that, okay, I'm way off the meter. And it's because I'm in an environment where that's just what's available. Is that an excuse? No, because I don't have to indulge. I can make different choices. I fully have the power to purchase something like a salad. Let's say if I want to eat a salad or buy some vegetables, which I did and had a salad today, or, say, no, thanks, I'm not going to have a drink. And I really haven't been drinking very much, but I mean, those kinds of things. It doesn't matter what the situation is that you find yourself in. You can always make some kind of a decision, even if it's just mentally, like with this man, Viktor Frankl, who was in the Holocaust. It's like how you choose to perceive any little thing that happens, the worst kind of thing. Someone can die on your left side, and on your right side, there can be the tiniest little blossom of a flower. Oh my God, it chokes me up because it's like, it is so powerful, you guys. It's like in the midst of feeling grief for a loss, you can still recognize the beauty of that tiny little blossom. And just like a little moment to recognize an opening and a moment of beauty can change everything, right? In a moment. And it's like you put one foot in front of the other, and it's not like poof, in an instant your whole life may change, but it's a series of instances, right? A series of instances, I guess. It's a series of moments. It's like one moment after another, and after a while, like anything else, it becomes a cumulative effect. And so that's what I'm talking about. So let me just stop for a second and look at what you guys have said. Okay, so someone says they appreciate the small things in life more. Yeah, absolutely. Hi from London. Let's see. Yeah. So I'll just talk to you guys really quickly about Las Terrenas. The DR, they have recently released the new curfew hours, and it's becoming very strict. I don't have them. Do I have them right now in front of me? Let me see. I'll actually read you what I received about the latest curfew information. By the way, I'm going to be doing a New Year's Eve YouTube marathon. Someone asked me to be on their marathon for YouTube on New Year's Eve. And so I will be on at 3 p.m. East Coast time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time. The channel is called Roll the Tape. So if you want to check me out, then you can go to Roll the Tape YouTube channel at 3 o'clock, and I'll be on. It says over 30 YouTubers. If you want to learn about different folks on YouTube, who's doing what, feel free to check that out. But I will be on at 3, just briefly. I think it's like 10 minutes, like he's going through a lot of people quickly. So there's that. Okay, but let me tell you about okay, here it is. I believe this is the final thing. So if you're interested in traveling to the DR, be aware. So for tomorrow, New Year's Eve, the curfew is from 7 p.m. until 5 a.m. They're not playing. They don't want people out, getting drunk, doing stupid stuff, getting in trouble, having an accident, whatever. They're locking things down. On January 1st, the curfew is from 5 p.m. till 5 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, January 2nd and 3rd, from 12 noon. Can you believe it? Like 12 noon, from 12 noon to 5 a.m. And then the week of January 4th through January 8th, it's also from 5 p.m. Curfews at 5 p.m. You guys, this is like way back in the beginning of COVID time, right? 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Then it looks like thereafter, Oh, so the weekend of January 9th and 10th, again from 12 noon to 5 a.m. Let's see. Bars, restaurants, colmados, which is like corner stores, cannot have customers eating and drinking on their premises from the 1st to the 10th. Wow. So they're cracking down. I'm not quite sure what all this is about. I mean, obviously everybody wants to be careful in terms of COVID and transmissions, but it's very restrictive. It has not been this restrictive really ever. We never had lockdown or curfew as early as noon. Never. The earliest I recall was about 5 p.m. And that was like early in the summertime, the early months of COVID when they weren't sure what was going on. And they like shut the borders and all that stuff. But so for those of you who are curious, that's what's up with the curfews. It's going to be restrictive for a while. And so there you have it. So yeah, again, I'll say in terms of those of you who are maybe still on the fence or, oh shoot, you forgot, whatever, the Abundance Creation Circle, you can still get in. The first day will be January 2nd. And I'm going to go live in our Facebook group at, what time did I say? I think I said 12 p.m. noon on noon Eastern time on January 2nd. I'm doing the first live stream of the group where we're going to dive in. I have my book here somewhere. I don't know where it is right now. But the Abundance book, we're going to start on that, really do some great work. I guess I am excited about it. I was feeling all calm, like I'm ready and I'm good. But when I start talking about it, I do get excited because it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to what's ahead. I just feel like there's another huge opportunity. And even if, because people are saying, oh, if you think 2020 was bad, wait to see 2021, okay. Do you think it was bad for Jeff Bezos? Amazon's owner? Do you think it was bad for the people who have stock in Zoom? And I'm not saying it's all about money, but there was a huge financial impact around the world because of everything that happened this year. But everybody was not negatively affected. Everybody didn't get sick and die. There are a lot of people who are still healthy, who thrived, who made choices because of what's happening to, eat better, to make sure they move their bodies, because those kinds of things help your immune system, right? There are people who became more invested in immune boosters, cryptocurrency. As somebody put, cryptocurrency is booming right now. Did you get in on crypto at all in 2020? Do you know about that? I'm no expert, but I have seen, a little bit I have in there has, I've got some gains. And so look for what is good in any situation. Look for where you can win. Look for where you can have personal gains. And by gains, again, I'm not just talking about finances. I'm talking about how can you feel better? How can you position yourself at any given time to realize some type of benefit, whether it's just a change in your attitude, whether it's thinking, hey, you know what, I can connect with this person and maybe shift the way I've been dealing with them. If we've been having consistent difficulty, let me put myself in their shoes, right? Let me put myself in their shoes and see like what may be going on. I have a situation. I mean, it's minor, I will say. It's a minor situation, but with a client who kind of came out of left field with some stuff that I was not aware of, and I became aware of it just recently. And it's like, what? I don't know what's going on with this person, but my thought process is just kind of get my hands of it and let it go. But I could sort of like argue some fine points about what happened and try to make. Do I want to? What's my time worth? Like, I'm not interested in doing that. It's like, for what? For what? And so, in any given moment, we can choose to be really upset in traffic and like blow our horn at the person in front of us or cuss somebody out. And I have those moments too, where I'm like, you dumb motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I have my moments for sure. But then it's like, okay, what is that? What is that costing me energetically? The disruption in my balance, in my peace, in my equilibrium, for being so annoyed at a person because they did something stupid, or they were rude, or they did what I think was an obviously wrong thing or stupid thing. How much does that cost me to be stuck on that? or to relay the story over and over and over again to a friend or to someone to sort of prove my rightness, right? Is that worth it? I'm talking about to that level, you guys. Even about yourself. Let's say it's not someone else who's annoyed you. Let's say you feel like you made a mistake. You dropped the ball somewhere this year. Damn, I should have done that. Or, oh my God, if I had gotten in on crypto, I could have made this much money. Or, why didn't I work extra when my boss asked me to? Then I would have been the one kept on and not laid off. I mean, whatever it is, you can beat yourself up. That's easy to do. We can always look at like, oh, I should have more of this, and I should have, I should look better. I should have a house by now. I should have a fill in the blank. I should be blank. That's easy to do. But why? Why would you spend your time beating yourself up? Is that productive? Is that getting you to where you want to be ultimately? If you're mad about not having done a certain thing, is flogging yourself moving you in the direction of getting it? Right? So, yeah. So I guess what I would say is spend the next, if you're kind of wondering, if you're floundering a little bit about how 2020 has treated you, if you are still kind of reeling from maybe having taken some blows this year because of all the things that have happened. If you're still in that kind of like recovery mode, take some time and think about, okay, well, what's the best way to deal with this? Accept it. Like, hey, what did you learn? Is there something that you could have done to avoid some of that? And this is not about beating yourself up, but just like receive whatever the lesson is. Is there a way that you could manage it, in a beneficial manner? Is there an opportunity to collaborate with somebody that would bring you up? I mean, I don't know, you guys. I can't think of whatever your situations are. Of course, I don't know. Jackson Jeter, what's up? Yeah, it's so I guess it's just I'm feeling very strongly, like in particular this evening, to really focus on, okay, what did I learn from 2020? So let me read you some of this just quickly. So here, if you want to do a quick like reflection exercise, ask yourself, like, how did you grow or expand in the midst of all that was happening in 2020? What growth did you experience in your personal life, in your professional life, financially, spiritually, in terms of your health, your relationships, whatever it may be? How did 2020 cause you to grow? And that doesn't mean that the growth is always easy, but can you recognize areas that you were forced to kind of stretch and expand in? And if so, what lessons did you learn from that, right? Think back about, go back to February, March, summertime. What was going on for you during that time? And how did you manage it? Okay. What are you grateful for? What can you say that you were grateful for as a result of everything that happened in 2020? Because there were so many things that happened, a lot of challenges. Some of you may have lost people you care about this year, whether it was to COVID or something else. Some of you may have lost jobs. Some of you may have lost money in the stock market. You may have ended relationships. You may have been stuck in the house with someone during COVID and that caused chaos or stress, In the midst of that, what can you say that you were grateful for? Maybe you gained, maybe things really improved vastly because you were able to shift, or you were able to, let's say, to create an online business or whatever it is. So where can you find an opportunity to be grateful despite all that was happening? Maybe you're just grateful that food passed me by, right? I didn't get sick, or my family's okay, or I was able to be with family this year despite all the restrictions. I don't know. But always when you can take some time and think about what was, I guess I'll call them like the good spots. Where did that happen? It kind of can make you have a different perspective on the year overall. Okay. And yeah, and I guess then finally I would say, so what are the areas then that you're still struggling with, right? If there are things that you feel like, okay, my marriage is okay, and my finances maybe are okay, or whatever it is, but I'm still resentful because of something somebody did to me, maybe, or I don't know. You guys know what your struggles may be, and maybe if you don't have any, great. If you feel like you're on top of everything, more power to you. Keep that up. But often if let's say we divide our lives into, let's say, 6 segments, right? Like finances, health, relationships, spirituality, profession, whatever, some different segments like that. Typically, we might have like 3, 4 that are really operating pretty well, but sometimes there's like 1, maybe 2 that are kind of lagging, because it's challenging to always maintain a balance of like everything being, in the zone of like 8 to 10 as opposed to 2 to 3, right? So can you identify the areas where you may still be kind of struggling, and have you noticed that there's a switch? Like maybe you started out really strong in one area and the others were not doing as well, but as a result of some things that happened this year, you find that, oh, I really had to push up on some of the areas where I was lagging. I don't know. But I think it's a really good opportunity right now during the next 24 hours, or maybe 48 if you want to take a little bit more time, and just think about, where have you come from? What has been happening in your life? And then where do you want to go? Right? Where are you going? Are you being random? You know what I'm saying? You get in your car on the East Coast of the United States, or, in Asia, and then you're trying to get to Europe, but you're just driving along, or you're starting in New York and you're trying to get to San Diego, and you just get on the street or on the highway and just drive without really knowing where you're going, you're probably it doesn't mean you won't get there, but you're probably going to burn up a lot of time and energy and various resources just being aimless. And so, what do you want? What do you want? Clarity. Clarity is pretty key right now. Okay, take a moment and look and see what else. Yeah, good and bad lessons. Yeah, I don't think the lessons are over, you guys. I really don't think the lessons are over. Let me scroll back up here and see what you guys have said. Oh, send me positive energy. You're welcome. Yeah, I was actually reviewing something tonight, the same thing that you guys are watching. I was looking at something similar, and it really made me think about, okay, like I said, I came up because I wanted to just I didn't want to be like staring at the TV for hours anymore and just absorbing this kind of, punches and guns blazing, and just like, okay, that's not where I'm trying to have my energy right now. And so I came and just took some time to myself and really began to focus on just what I'm talking about. And I thought, all right, I'm gonna hop on and do one more video, because I think it may be important, just like it was important for me to take a step back and focus on some things. I thought it might be important for some of you guys to consider that as well. And so that's what I'm doing this for. I will say again, if you want to hop in on the Abundance Circle, of course, be my guest. I would love to have you. You would need to go to abundancecreationcircle.com and sign up. abundancecreationcircle.com. And you can certainly hop in. I was going to show you, do I have a book here? If you haven't gotten the Abundance book, you can still get it. Let me see if yeah, here it is. This one, I've been showing it for weeks and weeks, and maybe even months. And this was really random, because I think I talked about this book just out of the blue, maybe some months ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a great book. And I found it, and I talked about, how I did the work in the book, and all these great things that started happening to me, like back in April or something. I think that's when I did the work. And some viewers were like, what's that book? What's that book? I started writing, sending individual people like, oh, here's the name of it and whatever. And then someone said to me, oh, a viewer was like, you should like run a group and have people sign up and everything. And at the time I was like, are you kidding me? I had too much work. There was no way. And because of this book, I had an explosive year in business and finances and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't have any more room to do anything else. I'm up here. Like, I'm below, I need to try to reach up above the water and get a grasp of breath. And so I was like, there's no way, I'm not doing it. I totally blew it off. And then it occurred to me one day, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's exactly why I should do it, because I need to reframe the way my abundance has shown up, right? Yes, I've received a lot more. I was successful in business this year, and, and started a company and all these kinds of things, but it's been overwhelming. It's been just kind of, I haven't had the kind of freedom and time that I had before to be able to create, right? I found that sometimes creation was hard for me because I had to, squeeze in time when I was exhausted or depleted in terms of my energy, or even my mental ability to think about what I wanted felt very compromised because of how much I had going on. And so then it became abundantly clear that, oh, well, that is why you need to do this, because there's a reframing that needs to happen. So it's not always that like abundance is going from 0 to 100 in terms of like, oh, now I have a bunch of money, or however you define abundance. It can be health, or again, relationships. It can be whatever. But it can also be tweaking what you currently have. You may be in a really great financial situation right now, but you want to shift maybe how your money is coming to you. Maybe you have a great relationship, but you want to shift something about it, right? So it's about how you define it. And I thought, well, yeah, I do want to do this again. It's a 40-day program. You probably, I don't know if you can see that, but here it talks right here. It says the 40-day prosperity plan. That's what this little ribbon up here says. And so it's a commitment of 40 days to do a little bit of reading, like a tiny little bit, like a paragraph every day, and then you write about it. It's very simple, but it's very profound. It is very profound. And when you do it, well, I can only speak for myself. When I did it, it blew the doors off. I mean, it just absolutely started to shift things immediately because it changes your awareness. And that's what this whole talk this evening has been about. And what I focus on so much now is my awareness and my mindset and how I'm choosing to live my life, how I'm choosing to view things. What am I going to spend the last day doing? I want to go out and take a run or take a walk. I bought myself some new tennis shoes because I needed some. And, I want to take care of my body. I want to take care of my mind. I want to go into the new year clear, alert and clear and really focused, rested and relaxed. And one of the intentions I had for being here, during this time was to just be present with my family. There was really no other agenda. Just be present, be open to whatever may come to me in terms of thoughts I have about what's coming, lessons learned, all the things I'm talking about here. And that's what I've done. But now I definitely feel like myself shifting, going, okay, here's where I want to go with it. So that's what I have to share with you. I would love for you to join us. I think it's going to be a really profound and special experience for the people in the group, and particularly those who are also committed to doing the 40 days. And I've said this before, that doesn't mean there aren't going to be days and you're like, shit, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like reading even like this little tiny paragraph. I don't feel like writing it. Of course you don't. That's just life, right? But that's also part of the, I guess I'll call it the work, or part of the lesson, is that, you push through even in times you don't feel like doing stuff, because the reward you get when you do that is so significant. It is so worthwhile that's the whole point of it. So I think I can end this now. I think I've certainly shared what I came on to share about. And yeah, I'm really glad I did. It's interesting because I find that this YouTube thing helps me really feel really good. I feel good when I'm sharing with people. And it's like, as I elevate, I feel like, other people can elevate too. And I get really good feedback. And so interesting. There's just some amazing things I want to do this year, and I'm not going to discuss them now. I'm just going to work on them. It's like, say, hey, don't talk about it, be about it. So that's what I'm about right now. But hopefully I'll be able to share some things with you before long. So please join me. I'd love to have you. One more time, it's abundancecreationcircle.com. If you're curious, if you want to jump in, feel free. I'd love to have you. But even if you don't, please do really give some thought to what this year has taught you and what you're looking forward to in the new year, right? How do you want to go about it? All right, you guys, I think that's it. Mwah! Just one quick look at these comments and see a sense of purpose. Yep. Go where there's no path and leave a trail. Yeah, blaze your own trail. I mean, it's great if you have someone that you are following and, someone who can be like a guide or a mentor. If you have that in your life, that's fantastic. But many of us don't. I never had a mentor because I didn't know anybody who was ever doing the kind of work I wanted to do. Like, I never knew anybody who was doing the work or living the life that I wanted to live. And so I really had to find my own way. A lot of it was trial and error. And I felt like forever I was just bumping around. And finally, it began to kind of make sense. I mean, sure, I can think, oh God, if I could go back 20 years and do some of these things over again. Not that I made a bunch of bad decisions, but it's like, oh, knowing now how I can create things. If I had had, that knowledge, that awareness, 20 years ago, I'd be off the charts. I'd be off the charts. That's okay. I'm a good communicator with positive vibes. Well, thank you. Okay, so DR. Let me just talk briefly about the DR. I mentioned already the curfew situation. I do have some videos about the DR that I have not put up. I just need to get to them. But as you can tell, you guys, I'm shifting, right? I'm shifting. I've talked a lot about the Dominican Republic. I've talked a lot about my experience there, different places to go, things to do, some of the good stuff, some of the controversial stuff. People are still, I see you guys are still looking at the videos about colorism and prostitution and whatever, all those kinds of things, the DR-Haiti relationship. And so, I share that so that people can have what I hope are enlightening and constructive conversations. None of it is designed to bring anybody down, but it's to, give you something to think about and perhaps consider a different perspective. So I'm not off the DR entirely, but I'm much more focused on the individual power we have, because I think that is so important right now. And this time in history is a critical, pivotal period. And for it to be happening in our lifetimes, I think is so meaningful that it is incumbent upon us to be responsible and to make the most of this time. And so it is for me to use my voice and this platform that I have to share with you what I think is important and what I think is meaningful. And that's what I'm talking about. It's you are the most powerful creator in your life, no matter what is going on around you. No matter, you could be in the midst of a divorce, you could be laying in a hospital bed, on a ventilator, maybe just able to see this message and hear it, but not make a move to respond anyway. That's enough for you to decide, I'm going to overcome the situation. I'm going to be okay. And if you start making those decisions on a consistent basis, your life will change. It has to, because it's a universal law. And there's so many things I could talk to you about, oh my God, water molecules, and when you feed them love as opposed to nasty vibes and the things you can see. Or if you talk to a plant and say loving things to a plant, one plant gets all the love, another plant gets I hate you, you're ugly. You will actually see differences in the physicality of the plants. I mean, it's endless. I could teach a course on this stuff, which is kind of what I'm going to be doing with the Abundance Circle. But yeah, so I feel for me that I'm much more kind of pulled in that direction now. So that is why I'm going on and on and on about these things, because I think there's just such great value here, and there's nobody that it is not available to. This power and this ability to create what we want in our lives is available to everyone. It has nothing to do with your education level, has nothing to do with your culture, where you were raised, any type of orientation you may have of any kind. It doesn't matter. And so use what you have. All right. I think that's it. I already blew you a kiss. I think that's it. Mwah. Bye. Second kiss. Have a great evening. Have a really happy new year. I'm so excited to see those of you who are going to be in the Abundance Creation Circle with me on the 2nd. Let's go. January 2nd, first live stream is at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So when you join, you're going to go to the Facebook group called Abundance Creation Circle, and we'll let you in and you'll see what's happening in the group. And I'm ready. If you want to join me, the book, I'll drop a link. Need a journal. Simple. A notebook, a journal, whatever. All right? Now it's on you. I have done my part. I have shown up. I've done all the legwork. It's all there waiting for you. What you going to do? What's it going to be, people? All right? Make the most of your evening. Make the most of the end of the year. And make the most of what's coming ahead by being intentional, being conscientious about it. All right? I'll see you soon. Bye. Happy New Year.